Last week's episode of WWE Raw featured record low viewership for the Red Brand since they moved to Netflix earlier this year. Is there cause for concern for WWE on the streaming platform? We'll let you know that. Plus, Carmelo Hayes, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, Stephanie McCurr, and Tyler Breeze all made their return to WWE NXT last night as they prepare for more surprises and several big matches next week on NXT Homecoming. We've got all this and more in this news update. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. Let's begin with viewership information for last week's episode of WWE Monday Night Raw on Netflix, and it's not amazing viewership numbers for WWE. Now, the Monday, September 1st episode of WWE Raw on Netflix brought in 2.4 million global views to go with 5.2 million global hours viewed through its first 7 days, according to the Netflix Weekly Tudum report. Now, this is down from the previous week's 2.6 million, and the number marks Raw's lowest global views since it began on Netflix this past January, and its lowest total since June 30th, which was 2.5 million global views. The global hours views were up slightly from the previous week's 5 million. Now, of course, it was the follow-up from the previous day's WWE Clash in Paris PLE, and it also aired in an earlier time slot of 2 p.m. Eastern, which could be possibly something to explain the low viewership number. It was 8th globally overall for the week and 5th overall in the United States. The show did have a longer run time than the previous week, helping out the global hours viewed number. It was in the top 10 for 6 countries, including the United States, Canada, United Kingdom, Bulgaria, Bolivia, and Bahrain. For the last 10 weeks, Raw has averaged a reported 2.68 million global views and 5.33 million global hours views. Of course, along with a full-out edition of the Premium Live event, Raw featured an Intercontinental title rematch between Dominic Mysterio and AJ Styles, CM Punk calling out Seth Rollins, Jey Uso and LA Knight versus Bronson Reed and Bron Breakker, and much more. So what are your thoughts on these numbers? And again, is there cause for concern for WWE on the streaming platform? Let me know your thoughts about that in the comment section below. Now, before we move on to the next news story, a reminder, this video is brought to you in collaboration with all of our affiliates. You can find out all of the details on them in the video description below. They'll also be pinned in the comment section, and you'll see them throughout the video on the sidebar. You can get yourself some great products, you can save yourself some money while doing it, and also you can support the channel in the process. Your support is really appreciated. Now, let's go to NXT last night. It was a very newsworthy edition of the show as they head to go back to Full Sail University next week. Let's begin with Carmelo Hayes. Carmelo Hayes returned to WWE NXT, reuniting with TNA World Champion Trick Williams to confront DIY. Ciampa stated that it's always special when they are in an NXT ring, but last night was extra special because it's the 10-year anniversary of the first time he teamed with Gargano in NXT. Gargano said he is NXT for life, and he meant that. Ciampa said that his last match in NXT he hoped wouldn't be his last match in NXT. Trick Williams made his way to the ring and admitted that DIY got the best of him last Tuesday, but it was 2-on-1. All of that went down because y'all are jealous that your NXT crew can't hang with my NXT crew. Gargano challenged Trick to get in the ring, but Trick said he wasn't alone. Hayes made his way to the ring to back up Trick. Hayes aired some grievances with Trick, saying that Trick called NXT his house, but DIY built the house and Hayes renovated the house. Hayes said Trick is squatting in the house. Trick admitted that he's been talking trash about Hayes and that wasn't right, but that this is still his house. Ciampa wondered which one of them were the big brother and the little brother in this situation. Hayes said they had no room to talk, as Ciampa betraying Gargano was one of the biggest backstabs in NXT history. Gargano didn't want to talk about it before challenging Trick and Melo to a tag team match. Now, Hayes' last NXT match took place on the April 16, 2024 episode when he lost to Trick in a cage match. Hayes was drafted to SmackDown in the 2024 WWE Draft. Now, as I said, it wasn't the only returns last night. There was a lot of them, particularly in the women's division. Now, Rhea Ripley, Tiffany Stratton, and Stephanie McCurr made their return to WWE NXT on the September 9th episode, confronting Fatal Influence. after Jacy Jayne declared herself as the greatest NXT Women's Champion and said that no one can compare to her. Vaquer's music hit. Vaquer gave Jayne credit for beating her for the NXT Women's Championship, but noted she held the NXT Women's title and NXT Women's North American title at the same time. Jayne pointed out that it was 3 against 1, and Vaquer brought out her friends. First, WWE Women's Champion Tiffany Stratton came out, running down her accomplishments and the women she's defeated. They were joined by Rhea Ripley, who issued a challenge to Fatal Influence for NXT Homecoming. Vaquer, Stratton and Ripley entered the ring, running off Fatal Influence. Of course, this match now set for next week's episode from Full Sail University, the card getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Tyler Breeze also made his return to WWE NXT last night on the CW. After Tavon Heights defeated Ethan Page in a flag match, Breeze and his selfie stick came around ringside and entered the ring. With the Canadian flag draped on Page, Breeze took a selfie next to the prone body of the NXT North American champion. Now, Breeze was in NXT from 2012 to 2015 before returning in 2019 after a run on the main roster. Breeze was released by WWE in 2021, but he has been working in a backstage capacity and in a digital role over the years with the company. Page is the reigning NXT North American champion. Though he lost the flag match to Heights, the title was not on the line. We also saw TNA wrestling superstar Joe Hendry also appear and inadvertently maybe help Dark State retain the NXT Tag Team titles. His name was once again said, and thus Joe Hendry appeared. Dark State duo of Dion Lennox and Osiris Griffin defended their NXT Tag Team titles against Hank and Tank on the September 9th episode of NXT. During the match, Cutler James stated, quote, "Joe Hendry will not appear tonight." James was wrong because Hendry's name was said, and thus he appeared. Hendry broke through the wall inside the arena and chased James into the ring. As the referee dealt with Hendry, Dark State reversed the roll-up and picked up the victory, retaining the tag team titles in the process. Now, Hendry appeared last Tuesday on NXT, helping Hank and Tank defeat Dark State in an 8-man tag team match when his name was said. So be careful if you say his name because he just may appear. The Culling have earned an opportunity at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles. The Cullings, Izzy Dame and Tatum Paxley, earned a shot at the WWE Women's Tag Team titles on the September 9th episode of WWE NXT. They defeated Fatal Influence and Zaruka in an elimination triple threat tag team match. The finish saw Dame hit a sky high on Fallon Henley to secure the victory in the match. Zaruka were eliminated when Ruka accidentally hit the Soul Snatcher on Zarya. Fatal Influence took advantage by knocking Ruka out of the ring and pinning her tag team partner. The Culling will now challenge Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair in a future match for the WWE Women's Tag Team Championships. Now, I mentioned NXT Homecoming. The show is absolutely jam-packed for next week on the CW as NXT returns to Full Sail for Homecoming. WWE have officially announced that Trick Williams and Carmelo Hayes will reunite to face DIY at NXT Homecoming on September 16th. Plus, NXT champion Obafemi and Ricky Saints will come face-to-face in a special edition of the Grayson Waller Effect. Furthermore, Tyler Breeze will challenge for the NXT North American Championship against Ethan Page. Finally, the promotional video for Homecoming stated there will be surprise appearances at the event. It featured the likes of Bobby Roode, Triple H, Shawn Michaels, just to name a few, that could possibly be all appearing next week on NXT inside Full Sail University. Blake Monroe showed a bit of a darker side to herself last night on NXT. Blake Monroe says she's ready to take Jordynne Grace to hell. 1 week after Grace got a measure of revenge on Monroe by making her bleed, Monroe revealed a different side of herself on the September 9th episode of WWE NXT. Sitting in a bathtub surrounded by candles and red lighting, Monroe said that she was supposed to be the glamour, but Grace ruined everything. Quote, "I wanted to be something different. I wanted to be clean, perfect. The truth is, the glamour was never meant to be clean. The glamour is cruel and merciless." Monroe said that Grace made her feel something that she thought was done. "You didn't humble or break me, you awakened me." Monroe closed by saying, "I'm going to show you why even Blake Monroe can make the devil blush. See you in hell, JG." So possibly, I guess, hell is coming for Jordynne Grace. Now, an update when it comes to the Speed Women's Championship tournament that's been taking place on NXT, a number one contenders tournament, that is. Lady Reed is moving on in the WWE Speed Women's title number one contenders tournament. Reed defeated Fabi Apache with some help from Natalya, who caused a distraction in the match as Apache was on the top rope. Apache missed a swanton off the top, and Reed connected with a running knee to secure the victory in the match. With this victory, Reed will face Candice LeRae in the finals of the number one contenders tournament on the September 23rd episode of NXT. The winner will challenge Sol Ruka for the WWE Women's Speed Championship at the NXT No Mercy PLE. Natalya, meanwhile, is set to face Apache at WWE and AAA Worlds Collide Las Vegas. It was announced at NXT Heatwave that the WWE Speed Championships would be defended on NXT moving forward. Speed Championship matches, or Speed matches rather, have a 3-minute time limit, but title matches have a 5-minute time limit. Speed matches were previously aired exclusively on X, but stopped on July 9th. The program debuted in April of 2024. Now, some interesting comments from WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque yesterday. He actually missed Monday's edition of Raw. Now, Raw was live in Milwaukee on September 8th, but Chief Content Officer Triple H was not at the show. Appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Triple H was asked about the Io Sky and Stephanie Vaquer contract signing that never went down on Raw, as it was explained that Vaquer wasn't at the show. Quote, "To be honest, I was not there last night. I haven't had a chance to watch the show yet. I did kill Tony last night. Oh shit. I'm not supposed to say that. I forgot it was a secret that I'm on there until Monday. It was fun." Now, Kill Tony is a stand-up comedy variety show created and hosted by Tony Hinchcliffe that airs on Netflix. Fightful Select had reported recently that despite cancelling the SummerSlam late-night show, that WWE still planned on working with Tony Hinchcliffe in the future, even after the controversial roast of WrestleMania that happened over WrestleMania weekend. Now, another spoiler came from Triple H regarding Cody Rhodes' status for Wrestlepalooza, and the WWE Champion will be at the show. Cody Rhodes has been off WWE television since the August 8th episode of SmackDown, when Drew McIntyre delivered a Claymore kick to Cody, kicking his head through the announce table. WWE has not issued medical updates on Rhodes, with McIntyre claiming that WWE is trying to hide the truth. Appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Triple H confirmed that Cody Rhodes will indeed be a part of Wrestlepalooza. Quote, "I will give you a spoiler right now. Cody Rhodes will be at Wrestlepalooza," he stated. Now, it's unclear if Cody Rhodes will return to WWE television before Wrestlepalooza, but Triple H has confirmed that the WWE Champion will be there. Speaking of Wrestlepalooza, Triple H has opened up on the decision to go with the Wrestlepalooza name, and if we could see more Wrestlepalooza shows moving forward. Now, next weekend, Wrestlepalooza will once again take center stage. The pay-per-view was originally associated with ECW in the late 1990s and early 2000s, with stars such as Tommy Dreamer, Dusty Rhodes, and the Dudley Boys headlining it. Per the direction of WWE Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque, the name has now been resurrected for a WWE Premium Live event in Indianapolis on September 20th. Quote, "There was a lot of thought into the PLE name, but it was in a brief period of time, so we were sort of under the gun," Levesque told the Pat McAfee show. "As soon as we heard that Indy was on the table, like they got the day open, we were in. This place is phenomenal, so that was a no-brainer for us, but we moved quick on this whole thing. The whole thing came together very, very quickly. ESPN asked for the date. They wanted a mega event. We said yes. We just had to pick a name and go. Shout out to ECW. Lollapalooza was a big thing, but now we're going to take that title. I think Wrestlepalooza will be a thing, probably depending on how this one goes. We'll see." Now, as Levesque alluded to, WWE Wrestlepalooza will mark a milestone change for the company's premium live events. Over the last few years, fans in the United States could watch PLEs exclusively on Peacock. As of this month, this is largely no longer the case, as main roster WWE PLEs, including Wrestlepalooza, will be broadcast on the new ESPN DTC service for those in the US. But if you want to watch it as part of your Netflix subscription, you can do so. All you've got to do is get a VPN, and you can use our link. There's a link to NordVPN. You can scan the QR code when it appears on the sidebar. The link's in the video description below. It'll be pinned in the comment section. You can change your location here to the UK or other international territories where everything is part of your Netflix subscription when it comes to WWE, and you won't have to pay extra money to go get that ESPN service if you don't want to. Now, Triple H also spoke about WWE Unreal and the reaction to it. Of course, it's been a bit polarizing, hasn't it? Triple H has responded to criticism from some fans that Netflix's WWE Unreal is lifting the curtain too much. Premiering worldwide on Netflix on July 29th, 2025, WWE Unreal has given fans an all-new look at the behind-the-scenes workings of its on-screen television production, with its 5-episode first season sharing footage of writers' room meetings, WWE talents laying out their matches ahead of shows, and other backstage happenings that viewers never typically get to see. While the show is a fascinating watch for hardcore fans and newcomers alike, it has not been without controversy, given its kayfabe-shattering nature, with former WWE superstar and WWE Hall of Famer Jake the Snake Roberts blasting the show as foolish, and even current talent such as Randy Orton admitting the old-school part of him doesn't love it. During his appearance on the Pat McAfee show, Triple H hit back at the criticism of the show. He said, quote, "The internet is all complaining that we're lifting the curtain and showing you stuff. Meanwhile, they're doing a podcast where all they're doing is talking about behind-the-scenes shit that's going on. I don't understand that logic. The world knows an 8-year-old kid lifts up his phone, Googles stuff, and knows all the behind-the-scenes stuff right there. So being able to see it, we're still not showing you how the trick is done. We're still not showing you how the guy levitates. We're still not showing you any of that stuff. But to me, what that show does is show you the heart, soul, and passion that everybody puts into that product to make it great for the fans. It's not taken as the most serious thing on the planet. It's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be entertainment. It's supposed to be a good time. If you're a fan, you already know. If you're not a fan, watching that makes you think, man, they put a lot into this. I'm interested in watching that now. I learned something about these people as human beings, not just as characters, and that interests me. I've heard a lot of people say that. Now, there's currently no official news on a second season of WWE Unreal. However, series director Chris Weaver has outlined his hopes for the show continuing in the long term. Triple H also spoke about WWE's relationship with Saudi Arabia. Of course, in 2018, WWE announced a 10-year strategic partnership with the Ministry of Sport in Saudi Arabia to bring annual events to the country. Now, Saudi Arabia has been controversial for WWE to have events there in the past when it comes to women's rights, LGBTQ rights as well, and initially, WWE women were not actually able to perform at the early Saudi shows, but that's changed over the years with more women competing at the Saudi events, and Pat McAfee gave credit to WWE and Triple H for bringing about the change. Triple H said, quote, "That's been their goal since the beginning, to change their perception, to change how they are, to open up that umbrella for women and with the country. It takes time. You can't just do all that stuff at once, or you alienate all the people that are in front of it and have a long-standing belief. You have to do it over time. I truly believe that to initiate change, you have to be a part of it. You can't just sit back on the sidelines and say, we are not going to participate in that, and these people don't do things right. You need to be there and be part of that change. We've been part of that change since the beginning." Of course, WWE will return to Saudi in January for the Royal Rumble PLE. Now, some of you may have seen some photos on social media over the last few weeks of the Levesque family, including Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, on holiday, vacationing, and some, if they shared those photos, may have actually gotten in hot water. Now, if you posted the pictures of Stephanie McMahon and Triple H vacationing, you could be in some legal trouble, according to a new report. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon had some of the most reposted images of the year in wrestling this summer when they were vacationing and swimming off of a boat. Their 3 daughters joined them. In early September, Fightful Select say they learned that a number of people that had posted the pictures who claimed they received legal notices of some sort. Now, Fightful said they weren't told if this was simply a case of a cease and desist or more, but it was intimated to Fightful that it was actually the photo agency as opposed to WWE or the family. This is an important distinction here. It wasn't Triple H and his family trying to get these removed. It was actually the photo agency who took the photo in the first place, or at least owns the photo. Now, Fightful were told there were also a number of people in WWE that were frustrated and upset that the pictures emerged, calling it an invasion of privacy regardless of the technicalities involving legality. The claim was that they were paparazzi, snap photos, and not released with permission. So if we get any more details on that, of course, we'll let you know. And finally, Triple H has commented on AJ Lee's return to WWE. Of course, she returned last Friday on SmackDown. AJ Lee made her return to WWE on last Friday's episode of The Blue Brand, joining her husband CM Punk as he fights with World Heavyweight Champion Seth Rollins and Women's Intercontinental Champion Becky Lynch. AJ will return to the ring for the first time in over a decade at WWE Wrestlepalooza when she teams with Punk to face off against Lynch and Rollins. Speaking to Pat McAfee on The Pat McAfee Show, Triple H commented on AJ's return, saying, quote, "When you have 4 performers who are that talented and AJ just coming back, it's been 10 years and she hasn't missed a beat. Just right in there and as charismatic as ever. Fans are loving it," he said. Now, Lee last wrestled on the March 30th, 2015 episode of WWE Raw, but she'll be returning to the ring at Wrestlepalooza in a couple of weeks' time. But there you go, guys. The latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe bottom right-hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon.
Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.